Welcome back to the channel, Oscar Overlander. This week I kept going on my habitat and I will explain to you what I did and what I used for it. So before we go into the details, let me show you the action from last weekend when we took that subframe off. I had plenty of help. Let's watch it.
Look at those strong boys. Look at those guys.
Nice. Here is my update from this week. I continued working on the walls and also on the back. As you can see, here's the shower window. The panorama window, that's pretty much the size it will be. The windows themselves, they have to be basically, they need braces or brackets. Braces, basically, you know, like vertical ones to narrow it a little bit, because that's not the shower window so big. I will continue with that later on. Same for the bedroom window right there, and this one as well. The kitchen window needs one on one side. I have to decide later on which way I shifted the window. This way towards the refrigerator, which will be there, you know, or this way. So that it's not clear yet. But I also finished the back, basically. You know, here's the jog, as I'm always talking about. This is a kind of, you see, let's see it that way. You know, this is a jog that way. Here, beneath that overhang, basically, will be the spare wheel right there in the back, right on the outside. I have to grind it. I have to clean all the welding beads. You know, but yeah, that's how far I am right now. These are, you might wonder why these are so close to each other. That has something to do with the sheet width, as I mentioned last video. One sheet goes from there, 48 inches, all the way till there. Then from there, all the way to that one. I couldn't place the long one there because that would run right through the window. So that's why I had to notch it out, okay? So that's the reason. So then the next sheet goes from that one over to that one, and finally over to this one. Here I am an inch short, but I will come up with an idea how to handle that. Now, let me show you the little details here. As you saw from at the last video when I talked about the floor trusses and stuff, you know, I had 4 posts up, which was holding up the roof, but no wall was basically started. I think 1 post or something was in there. But I said, you know, like the load bearing is like, it's like a house. You have load bearing walls. They are thick, they are stable, and then you have non-load bearing walls, and they are thinner, you know, often just drywall because they are not carrying any weight. You know, so, and this is the same on this habitat basically. My load-bearing walls are the 4 studs on the very back. These ones, I showed you once, you know, like they are a 1/8 wall thickness or 3 millimeter. These in between here, the black ones, they are basically the same outside diameter, 50 by 50 or 2 by 2 and 2 millimeter for the in-between posts. And then these type of things, you see the shiny ones here, these ones, you know, they're basically just to fill in the opening, to make it the right size for this, in this case here for the panorama window, you know. Therefore I used also 2 by 2 inches, 50 by 50 millimeter, 1/16, so basically 1.6 millimeter. Yeah, this is a very light pipe. This is almost, I don't want to say no weight, but compared to the 3 millimeter ones, they have no weight. You know, on that window, the horizontals here, they are the 1/16 ones, and this one. So yeah, that's what I used there. So in general, I have 3 millimeter, 2 millimeter, and 1/16, 1.6 millimeter material used. As you also can see, there's just a ton of little pieces, bits and bytes, you know, which needed to be cut. And that's why, I just want to mention it once, you know, that's why my absolute superstar for this type of work is this little guy here. This is no commercial, you know, that I don't even know the brand of this thing. But if you plan to do, if somebody plans to do such a thing, you know, or even smaller or whatever, such a little bandsaw is the absolute, I don't want to say a lifesaver, but it saves you a ton of time. You know, that is my total superstar, total gold, you know, because so many cuts. It's a 4-inch bandsaw. That's how you can find it, basically 4-inch bandsaw with a 64.5 inch blade on it, you know, 1/2 inch in height. You know, I changed the blade once since I own it, and it's still cutting. This thing is cutting and cutting and cutting. It's unbelievable. I thought that little rinky-dink saw, it's just a joke, but when I purchased it, but it proved me otherwise. You know, it's not a professional saw for sure not, but for this type of work, is it a huge helper. You know, so this saw, you can find it on Amazon, or for the people in the States at Harbor Freight, probably for $500 in the States, in Canada for just above 700. You know, I shot it on Craigslist for $200. You know, there's plenty of offers like that. You just have to wait. You know, like those $200 are well invested. So next week I will finish up this habitat a little bit at the steel structure, right? So because there's not really much left to do, just the front. You know, the crawl through opening need to be created into the driving cab. And then I have to find out where I need a little bit more support for the aluminum panels, which get glued on. You know, for example, there in the front, you see that opening there is pretty big and unsupported. Yeah, so I probably have to put a vertical in there, you know, to support the aluminum panel. So these type of things I will do. That doesn't take much time, maybe a day or two. And then I have to focus on my truck themselves, the chassis. Because as you saw at the beginning, I dropped off the subframe, so I expect that one in a week or two back. And until then I have to have the frame, basically the car frame done. So there I need to clean them up and paint them, you know, and then also take care of the remaining air hoses. They are not connected yet. So that needs to be done. That's the rest of the week. So I might have not so much to show. The video is getting a little shorter next week, but I will show something, you know, like the progress, what I did. So therefore, stay tuned and we see us next week.